Om Shanti Divine brothers and sisters. In this video we are going to discuss about how Shudra Varnas originated from Mahavishnu's feet. So this created controversy. So people become atheist because of this Varna system. But there is a deep spiritual secret behind that. None of what is mentioned in human written Vedas have actually happened. But some spiritual truth is hidden in all those Indian religious texts. So to understand that, there's only one way, that is to get the direct knowledge of God directly from God through Brahma Kumaris. So before we jump directly into this subject, let's see in brief the knowledge given by God through Brahma Kumaris. God says the whole world is being controlled by the 5000 year time cycle. This is called one kalpa, and whatever happens in one kalpa, it keeps repeating kalpa after kalpa. The first 2500 years of this kalpa, that is the first half of each kalpa, is heaven. That is, the same earth is becoming heaven in the first kalpa, and the same heaven is transformed into hell in the next kalpa. So in the last 100 years, God enters an old man's body and gives this knowledge, saying that people who lived in heaven were called angels, and a part of India was heaven, which is why those angels were worshipped as idols in Hindu temples. So these angels, after taking several rebirths, when they enter hell, they start losing all their divine powers and virtues, and they become ordinary humans, and they take birth in Hindus, Christians, Muslims, and all other communities. And in the last 100 years, God, by giving his direct knowledge, helps the souls, the angelic souls that has become ordinary humans, to convert back to angels. God says, when you were an angel, you did not consider yourself as the perishable body. Instead, you considered yourself as the imperishable soul that shines like a tiny star in between your eyebrows, which is why Hindus have the habit of wearing bindis in between their eyebrows. So that's how they have the tremendous power over those 5 elements: air, earth, fire, water. So here, when they start taking birth in hell, they lose their soul consciousness and they start to gain body conscious. So by this body consciousness, they start getting the vices like lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. It is these 5 vices that is described as Maya or Satan or Satan in different religions. So we become slaves to the Maya in hell, which is why we undergo enormous sufferings. But in heaven, we do not know what suffering is. We will be in eternal bliss and joy forever. So to become like that, we have to practice soul consciousness right now. But this body conscious will surface quite often. So to overpower that, there's only one way, that is to remember God. God now introduces himself that he looks like a tiny point of light because he is also a soul just like us. We shine like a tiny star here, but God shines like a tiny star in a place called Parandam, which is a light world. It consists of orange colored light world. So this is called the soul world. This is where God, who is called Allah by Muslims, Heavenly Father by Jesus Christ, and God Shiva by Hindus, that one God always dwells here. This top point of light is the God, and all other points of lights, they are us, the souls. So we, before taking birth in this visible world, we were here without body, just as naked souls. So we start taking birth in this cycle, but God, he doesn't take birth. Only in the last 100 years of Kalpa, he enters the old man's body and gives this knowledge. So this is what Raj Yoga is all about. You have to consider yourself as a soul, as a point of light here. Then you have to remember God also as a point of light in a reddish area. So the more you think of him, the more you connect yourself mentally with God, the more your soul becomes pure, thereby regain its soul power. So that's what Raj Yoga teaches you. So based on your effort, you will get higher power in heaven. So this kalpa can be divided into 4 yugas. So each yuga contains 1250 years. The first yuga is Satyug, second yuga is Treta Yuga, third is Dwapar Yuga, fourth is Kali Yuga. So the first 2 yugas consist of heaven, and the second 2 yugas, they comprise of hell. So in Satyug you will have full power of the soul. So you will be enjoying 100% bliss, 100% peace, 100% health, and 100% wealth. When you enter the second yuga, you will be losing certain amount of joy, because the soul start losing its power, because the only way for the soul to regain its power is to think of God, but God doesn't come in heaven, and we wouldn't remember about God in heaven. This Brahma is taking birth as Krishna, which means this Krishna soul in its last birth is taking this Brahma's body. So even Sri Krishna will not remember God, so there's no need to say about others. So whether it's Jesus Christ or Muhammad, nobody knows about God. So moreover, there's no need to think of God in heaven, so they wouldn't worship God as well, because they have everything they see, it's full of joy. So only when they enter hell and start becoming body conscious, they start feeling what pain is. So that's when they start bhakti, that is, they start devotion. So first they build Shiva temple, then they start building temples for other deities, and As time goes by, they start worshipping humans, nature, saints, and so on. But despite these devotions, their pain and sufferings actually increase, because in no human written Vedas it is mentioned that your pain is directly related to body consciousness. So the more we become body conscious, the more we start suffering. So it is in the last 100 years God comes and liberates us from this suffering through the education to become soul conscious. So in the first yuga, when you will be called deity. In the second yuga, after losing certain amount of soul power, you will be called Kshatriya. And in the third Dwapar Yuga, after losing some more power, you are called Vaishya. And when you enter the last Yuga, Kali Yuga, you will be deprived of all power. You will be becoming totally body conscious, because of which you have reached the bottom stage, and you were then called Shudras. So, but in Vedas it is mentioned that these four varnas they coexist, but they do not coexist as per God's knowledge. It is see these those who receive knowledge directly from God through Brahma, they are called Brahma Kumaris. So these Brahma Kumaris are called true Brahmins. So these Brahmins take birth out of Brahma's mouth, which means by listening to the words of God through Brahma's mouth, they identify their real divine father. That's how they take birth. It's the divine birth, which is why Brahmins is considered the highest birth. And here they become deities. Though it's high, Brahmins are higher than deities, because it is through the effort of Brahmin they become deities in the next birth. So here they become Kshatriya, which means they lose their power. Here there's a rule: not everybody from Parandam enters here directly. Only those who have put much effort in becoming soul conscious, only they will take birth very soon in Satyuga. If they, based on ranking, so the second rank they will take birth later, third rank later. So it's like that. But once they start taking birth here, they cannot go back to soul world. They have to complete this cycle. Only after the completion of Sangam Yuga, everybody will be wiped out of this earth and they'll be taken back to the soul world by God, which is why God has come now. So before that you cannot go on your own with your meditation or any technique. So but not everybody comes at once. Only they will be going together, but they won't come together. So they enter this cycle based on the effort in Sangam Yuga. That is the Yuga, the last 100 years, where God meets his children directly, not through any prophets. Okay, so this is also shown as steps here. Since Devata, that is deity, is considered supreme, they are shown in the top portion of the step, and the Shudras are considered as inferior, they are shown in the bottom. So everybody must become Shudra in the end, um, except the god, because he doesn't enter this cycle. So in the first half there's no devotion. This is called Jnana Marg, that is path of knowledge. You will not get knowledge there. It is by imbibing the knowledge in this birth you will reap its result for the next 2500 years when this India is heaven. So the next half is called path of devotion. So this step, because say the soul which shines like a star equal to God is shown in the top. This soul, after going through this 5000 years, at the end of this 5000 years it has become completely dark, which means it has lost all its power. It has become fully body conscious. So now, by considering yourself as soul and by remembering God, you can, your soul, that is, you are the soul. So the soul becomes pure. It can wash away its sin only by remembering God. So the more it becomes pure, the more is the chance you reach the top. So this step is shown as Virat Rup. So that's why they say Brahmin. Actually Brahmin and God Shiva is hidden in Virat Rup, because Brahmins should be shown as that clutch of hair above the Brahmin, but since it wouldn't look good in Mahavishnu, they didn't show that. And God Shiva as point of light, it is, since it's out of knowledge of humans, they didn't show it either. So that's why people do not get the real meaning out of Virat Rup. So it is said that deities, that is the devatas, they take birth out of the face of Vishnu, which means the face is in the top of the human body, right? So this the nature of the soul will be supreme, will be superior, which is why it is shown as the head portion. Moreover, okay, the next Kshatriyas are believed to have taken birth out of the shoulders. The shoulders are bigger than head, which means the Kshatriyas will be more in number compared to Devatas, the deities, because those who have become deities, even they have to become Kshatriyas. In addition, Kshatriyas will be descending directly from the soul world as well. So the number of Kshatriyas will be more compared to that of the pure deities, which is why it is shown as the it is shown as the Kshatriyas have taken birth out of the shoulder of Mahavishnu. And these Vaishyas were said to have taken birth out of the tummy of Mahavishnu. Since the stomach is bigger than the shoulder, it means the Vaishyas will be more in number compared to deities and Kshatriyas. Similarly, the Shudras were shown to have taken birth out of the leg of Vishnu. So since the leg is very long, it represents Shudras are very large in number compared to other varnas. Moreover, leg forms the bottom part of the body. So the soul has become very inferior towards the end of this kalpa, which is why it is shown as that Shudras have taken birth out of the feet of Vishnu. So this is what the actual spiritual meaning hidden behind the fact that Shudras have taken birth out of Vishnu's feet. But by considering this, nobody will get anger. But if you read directly the Vedas written by humans, obviously you will get anger and you will eventually become atheist. But this is the actual fact, and this knowledge is not written in any Vedas. It is, you can get it directly only from God through Brahma Kumaris. So don't waste any more time. Hurry to the nearest Brahma Kumaris center and start making effort to become deities with higher power. So sooner you join Brahma Kumaris, the more is the chance that you enjoy heaven fully. So we welcome you all to the nearest Brahma Kumaris center. Log on to brahmakumaris.com for locating the important Indian centers, and log on to brahmakumaris.org for locating the important centers abroad. By contacting them, you can locate the nearest Brahma Kumaris center. Om Shanti.